should come with all the constitution to come back here. We try to modify the better laws. Those are not good there. We omit them and serve the nation. But we cannot just confine the law within the certain section, because some people are just debating it. In fact, we don't have enough judges. This is possible. They can be on a life salary. But 1965, when Gambia was getting independent, or 1970, the population of this country was about 200,000. After 50 years, we are over 2 million. Are we expecting the country to be stagnant with certain judges or few judges within the country? Go to the university. How many law students there? Are they going to be only the lawyers in this country? No. Each and every one of them is praying for them to be at least be one day lucky to serving as a judge in this country. So you cannot single-handedly pick up certain judges. Who is more risky than the president after leaving the service? He doesn't have lifetime immunity of what they are claiming right now. Who is more risk at the travel magistrates? Traveling across the country, some of them, they will even join the commercial vehicles because they don't have their own transport. You want to exclude those people from the immunity right now, you are claiming for the judges. It can't be possible. Monkey walk, baboon chop. That's not fair. We're not doing the law, we are making the law. Let's make it the betterment of all of us. That will protect us. We don't want this country to be stagnant because of few laws or few individuals want to be prosper and leave the rest behind. Let's sanitize the whole entire system and make sure that when the laws are made, it's the betterment of the whole entire country. Honorable Speaker, when you come to the taxation, after the presidency, the president is taxable, chargeable taxes are allowed to his income. But these judges, they are exempted for certain lump sum for about 6 months. Where is the fair deal here? It's not. We are not rejecting it. We know that to be a judge in anywhere in the world is a very, how to call it, it's a very noble cause, a noble job who somebody will be preferred to be a judge. But by leaving the position also, you cannot be totally banging on. I've been serving in this country for quite a while, so I should be a life immunity of something, which is not fair. We the lawmakers here, National Assembly. These honorable members here, they went to fight for their seats. And they won. As some of the members alluded here. Only the president have the right and the power to nominate or appoint a minister. But the cabinet ministers have been given how many privileges here? They have their official cars. They have their utility vehicles. They have 2 drivers. They have them under every month of coupons. But when the National Assembly is making their, how to call it, making the laws here, did they do the comparison? There was no comparison that ministers are having this one, so we should have it. No. We know that every responsibility comes with a challenge. Probably the ministers, the way the executive, the way they were operating, might not apply to us. But if it is a deserving immunity, I think this vehicle issue should have been a policy of all the government institutions. Because it's saving the state. It's saving the state. When I'm paying half of my vehicle, I would definitely make sure that the car is always serviced and modern to be my satisfaction. But with the government vehicle, what happened? Even they hit the side road, they will park it over there. The government has to invest on them to take them to the garage, to maintenance or whatsoever. All these are happening in this country, but we are not complaining. I don't know whether the Gambians don't know it, but this vehicle became so controversial that we don't have any entitlement in this country. That's not fair. We have an entitlement into this country because we are serving this country. Sometimes we stay here up to late nights. Some of us, you might not have a challenge to travel back to, but you have some members who doesn't have a car. They don't even have a motorbike. What do you expect that we serve here up to 3 a.m. in the morning and you expect to stand in the street or look for a transport back home? Those are not fair. So at least let's see the common goal of the country. The law cannot be confined for certain individual and they leave the rest. We want even the sanitization will be happening. Honorable Minister, we would like you to include the magistrate judges. Because I was one time working with them when I was a youth president. So that time we have so many challenges. If you want the magistrate to go attend our cases in Basse, you have to provide a transport for them. You have to pay them or they will not go. So if they are dealing with such, if the situation needs to be changed, let's cover every one of them. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you very much, nominated member Maimouna Sise. Honorable members, I have 32 on my list and only 12 have spoken so far. I can see that it looks like there are a lot of repetitions, but it's your right to say whatever you want to, as long it's in order. I appeal that members summarize their opinions on the general merits and principles. Yeah, you're on the list, I think. You're on the list, yes. Member for Jokadu.
When I raise my tag,
So no, I'm asking if you are rising on a point of order or.
I think no.
Okay. All right, sit down, sir. Okay, sit down, sir, please. Okay, sit down, sir.
Thank you.
Can you switch off? Okay. The member for Latikunda Sabiji, he said he was the 5th person to raise his tag. And number 5 here is nominated member Kebalang Fofana. I am going by the list provided to me by my aides. Sorry about that, sir. Member for Jokadu, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, to me, this bill, if there was proper homework and thorough consultation, this bill would not have been here in this format. Honorable Speaker, in the last parliament, these are the controversial things that were embedded in the draft constitution, warranting us to reject it. And it is here today before us. I think there was no proper consultation, no proper homework. And members are saying, let's allow it to go so that we can sanitize it. But I just want to remind members that as parliamentarians, we are not drafters, and at the same time, we are not interpreters. We are not going to interpret the law. So, if we pass this, it is going to be very serious on our side. Because we are here to serve the Gambian people. And the Gambian people are not happy with this bill. I have made several consultations, but the majority of the people that I have consulted are telling me that this bill is not for good. And I concur with them. Because there are so many things in this bill, if not all, but majority of the things that are embedded in this bill is not very fair. Because as a judge, before you became a judge, you passed through a system. You were taught by a teacher. From nursery up to you until you graduated, and then you take it as a discipline. You became a judge. When you were going to school as a young, you was becoming sick, And then they rush you to the hospital. Doctors were treating you, giving you the necessary things so that you become what you are today. So we are sidelining all those major players, and then we are concentrating on this. I think this is a bill that we should not waste time on. To my own view, I was here in the last parliament. And the reason why I stood here and spoke on the draft, and the reasons that I quoted that were very wrong in the draft, this bill was part of it. You are serving the Gambian people. You are paid, you have been paid salaries and allowances. Now, after retirement, you still want to go home with that same package. And in the long run, those who succeeded you, where they found the scale, you are also augmented. Lift to that same scale. Why? Why that? Where are the rest? I think we should be very serious. We should be very fair to the Gambian people. As a government pro MP, I'm speaking with my consent. This is very wrong. This bill should not have been here if proper consultation and homework was done. And henceforth, I'm appealing to the government. Anything that they are bringing to these chambers, let them sieve it. Scrutinize it very well before they bring it here. That's what I am appealing. What is going to happen if we pass this bill? Then I think let's start from now, building a faculty of law from here up to Basse. Because all the other disciplines will be abandoned. Everybody in this country will want to become a judge, only a judge. It's very serious. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to take the time of the Parliament. As you said, there are so many speakers who are on the list. But to me, with my own consent, I'm not going to support this bill. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to the member for Olyundum and Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first of all, let me make a declaration for my colleagues to understand something. This is not a football game between the majority and the minority. This is a bill before us for our own conscience to dissect the bill and express opinions and see where your position is. Honorable Speaker, when the draft constitution was tabled in the National Assembly in 2020, I was one of those who rejected the draft as a result of this clause, but not limited to this alone, but because there were also advocates to say, pass our draft constitution without a full stop and a comma. And they said a lot of things about the draft constitution. Also at the time, the draft constitution was only for us to either approve or reject, because we cannot at the time refer it to a committee. Our position at the time was for us to reject the draft constitution based on our conscience. Whether it's politically motivated or not, that is not my problem. I did consultation with my people at the time, and my conscience was for me to reject the draft constitution based on these clauses and a lot more clauses in the draft at the time. That was the reason. But Honorable Speaker, when we rejected the draft constitution, because a lot of people at the time believed that many Gambians at the time were supporting the draft constitution. Myself and my colleagues who rejected the draft were called traitors at the time because they believed that majority of the Gambians were supporting the draft at the time. This particular clause is extracted from the draft constitution. And today we have members supporting it again. So we call them traitors as well. Let's think about that. At the time, I rejected the draft based on my conscience, and I think that was good for my people. So I should be left the way I think. and I should not be called names at the time. If I was called names in 2020, somebody supporting it today should be called names. That is the fact. And let me make this clear. I am not anti-judicial. No. We are here to make laws. And I'm not against the bill to be referred to committees or not. I'm not. But we have to make the facts very clear. People at the time who were speaking, where their opinions were politically motivated, because for us, we thought at the time, we were rejecting the draft concept based on our consents. So that is what we've done. So today, those of you who were not in parliament at the time, I saw a member at the time who wrote on the Facebook, and he mentioned our names as traitors for rejecting the draft constitution. That member today is supporting this particular bill that is established from the draft constitution.
Honorable member for
Honorable Speaker, let me just...
Please take your seat, sir. People are bringing in the issue of the draft constitution, and members of parliament, you are good at dribbling the speaker, or as the Wolof will say, dahaganar. So let's please be on the principle and general merits of this bill, and then forget about the... I'm sure each member would want to respond to certain comments that are seemingly directed to some members of parliament, and we should avoid that. Thank you. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, because I did not have the platform to respond to those comments at the time. So this is the best time for me to respond. And I think I'm doing what I am supposed to do. Yes. So, can you please leave me alone? Honorable Speaker, the bill before us, for me, I think my colleague said we are vindicated because because I cannot support the bill if I did not lay these foundations. I have to say them so that people do. The reason why we rejected the draft constitution, because we were called names. Even if I am going to support the bill today, I have to lay those foundations for people to understand.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
There's point of order from who? Oh? The member for Opanyomi, please give us the authority, please.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, Order 8, Speaker's ruling. 3, Order 8.3, the Speaker's ruling shall be final on all questions of procedures and orders. Honorable member, the Speaker has made ruling, just comply and do your submission. Thank you.
Order, please. Order sustained. Honorable member for Olyundum and any other honorable member, please, and as Deputy Majority Leader, let us confine ourselves to the general merit and principle of this bill, not about the draft constitution. The member for Panyomi, thank you very much. Order sustained.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Now I'll confine myself to the bill. Honorable Speaker, the objects and reasons of the bill is very clear. Member for Obasalum highlighted a lot of things that all of us should think about. And one of them is for the minister to respond to questions with regards to some of the questions that we have for him. That is, the bill before us is talking about judges alone. And it could have been a lot more of them in the judicial sector. They could have think in that direction to bring a bill that members of parliament will consider in favor of the judiciary and take care of all the needs that they have for the judges, the magistrates, and all other officers. That would also have been better for us to consider. Because for me, the bill is tied to at least 3 provisions. And even if you perhaps take the bill to the committee stage, if those provisions are taught, you no longer have a bill. You no longer have a bill. They are tied to 3. We need to look at them. So here, everybody is entitled to their opinion. Like I said, it's not A versus B. It's members' opinion on the bill. You support it, you stand on your grounds. You don't support it, you stand on your ground. Whether we refer it to committee, we have a job to do. At the end of the day, what is going to be the repercussion? Are we going to reject the bill at committee stage? Because for me, if the 3 clauses are exempted from the bill, you no longer have a bill again at the time. So we need to look at it. My colleagues behind me, I mean, all of you, you have your rights to speak. If possible, we can refer the bill to committee and then allow the relevant committee to look at it. And then perhaps in the next session, we can see what we are going to do. But for me, my position is very clear as a member, and I need to make my facts clear for people to know the reason why we are against this particular bill. I mean, when it was tabled, I had a program on the radio. They asked me, my position at the time was, I am against the bill because I cannot support a bill that I rejected before. That was my position. And then the radio program continues. More than 25 people call in my own constituency. All of them were against the bill at the time. So it's a popular opinion. It's a popular opinion. But then we have a job to do. I refused to drag the draft constitution to committee stage because I do not have that powers at the time. But this one, perhaps we have the powers to send it to committees. I mean, we can agree to send it to committees and then, a joint committee and look at it, sanitize it. If those 3 provisions are exempted, then that means we don't have a bill. My position now is, my position is, I just want to appeal to my colleagues to allow the bill to be referred to a committee, and then we do a diligent job. When we complete the job at committee stage, then we will table it at the plenary again. Then you will see. Honorable Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Member for Olyundum and Deputy Majority Leader. I now recognize the member for Sabak Sanja.
No video talk about.
Technicians, can you please, the technical team, can you please look at what is happening with especially the last row, the mics with the last row. Yeah, the member for Sabak Sanjal, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I want to join my honorable colleagues to just mention some few words as far as this bill before us is concerned. First, I want to establish that, Honorable Speaker, it is very important that we note that the drafters can draft a bill and bring it before us. But we have to understand that we need to take ownership of this particular bill whenever it is brought before us. They have done their part, and now it is left to us to do our part. Honorable Speaker, we understand that working as a judge is a bit risky, understanding the situation in which you may find yourself. Because we understand that judges, sometimes they decide on life and death. But, Honorable Speaker, I think the solution to this is not about this particular bill in concern. But we should look at it holistically to come up with a salary restructuring generally for all sectors, and not only specifically saying judges. How about magistrates? I think they are also working under the Judiciary, and they are also very important. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister have cited some sections of the Constitution But I also want to refer this August Assembly to section 68, subsection 2. Honorable Speaker, under section 68, it talks about salaries and allowances of the president. And under subsection 2, it says, the president shall be entitled to such pensions and retirements, benefits, as may be prescribed by an act of the National Assembly, and such pensions and other benefits shall not be altered to his or her disadvantages after he or she has relinquished office. Honorable Speaker, I don't think we should set a precedent here. Fine, I understand the position of the judiciary, but if we pass this bill, I hope that the office of the president will not also bring something like this. Just a few weeks ago, we had the Minister of Finance here, and he said they are facing some financial difficulties, and most of the Gambian monies is going to personal emoluments. So I think that needs to be also considered, that most of the monies are paid to government civil servants. And we understand the economic situation of the country, Honorable Speaker. To me, definitely, I understand that the work they are doing is risky, and all those things that they have mentioned here is a need. But even though it is a need for them, but can we sustain it as a nation? This is something that we need to put at the back of our minds. We cannot just deny them vehemently some of the things that they require or that they need, which will support them in doing their work. But also, we have to look at the situation in which we find ourselves. Some of those things that they mentioned at the bill, we understand that they are already having them. Fuel coupons. I think the only thing that they need is a piece of legislation which is giving them now the legalities of doing so, or the powers. Because I understand, we understand that when they are traveling, they have night allowances. When they are traveling, they also have, within the country, they have fuel coupons and all those things. So all that they need is to have it as a piece of legislation, which is their constitutional right, definitely. But then we also have to look at it in a broader perspective to make sure that it does not harm the economy of the Gambia. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, when you talk about salary for judges and when they retire, fine, in the US, we see that it is happening there, but in a different circumstances. Because there, you work until your last breath as a judge in the US. And I think that is similar to what they want here. But, Honorable Speaker, to be honest, we have people who are also doing a very, very difficult job as judges. But they are not having all these things. And they deserve it. But we understand that the economic situation of the country cannot sustain that. So to me, we have to look at this properly. We shouldn't rush to just approve things like that. In fact, the Constitution also gives us powers, fine, to refer this to a relevant committee and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it is coming back to us. So we have to take our position on this. Either we say, okay, let's sanitize it, or no, we just decide to put it aside, and then for the benefit of the nation. I think that is what we need to do. So, Honorable Speaker, to be honest, I respect all judges. Because I said it here, they are doing a very risky job. They decide on life and death, and you cannot decide whether for me to lose my millions. At the end of the day, I can go to shopping and see you in the supermarket like that when you decided that I should lose all my millions. Definitely, I can understand their position, but also I understand the economic situation of our country, Honorable Speaker. So I'm looking at it on both sides. To me, we need to look at it holistically. Look at teachers, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, some teachers are posted on certain villages. Even to get a fresh bread is a problem. No, please allow me to speak. Even to get fresh bread is a problem. Talk less of good salary. So we need general review of the whole situation. Salary restructuring is what is solving the whole situation. You are a permanent secretary, you are entitled to A, B, C, and D. You are a magistrate, you are entitled to A, B, and C. You are a judge, you are entitled to A, B, and C. But to say we concentrate on one particular thing, fine, National Assembly is important. But do we get all what we want as National Assembly? No. Teachers, do they get all what they want? No. Doctors, do they get all what they want? No. So what I am saying here is, I think they already have most of those things that are mentioned here on this piece of legislation. They already have them on this bill, rather. They have them. Travel allowance is given to them. Fuel coupons is given to them. Night allowances are given to them. All they are requesting is to have it as a piece of legislation. Now it is for us to decide whether to say yes or no. So for me, definitely my position on this is, I am considering the economic situation of this country, which is the Gambia. Even if we have to approve it, it has to be in consultation with the Minister of Finance to know that yes, we can do it. If no, we cannot survive it, we put it aside. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to.
Thank you very much, Member for Sabah Sanjal. I now give the floor to the member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And then thank you, Honorable Minister. May I start by saying that public service is not about educating yourself. It is all about sacrifice and improving the lives of people that you look after. I always want to talk about myself before I talk about others. I am a concerned person who is concerned about the well-being of every human being. Let me just say that. So I want to see the lives of every Gambian and non-Gambian in this country, their lives to improve just as we are. I am not one who goes against things based on emotions or because I don't support. I'm going to make this statement, but let me, before making this statement, let me just define what coup is. Because a coup is by surprise or unlawful removal of a president. The judiciary, today I accuse them of a coup plot against the public service. I am going to conclude to say that this is a coup d'etat of the public service. Because why I'm saying it's a coup d'etat against the public service, this was part of the rejected draft constitution. They decided with their intellectual knowledge, technocrat, to withdraw those things and then bring it separately. So that we are blinded because we are not legally minded. Maybe we would have just accepted the bill when it was something that was rejected. They know that if it is there, it will still be rejected. And then this bill even came at the wrong time. A broken economy, a crumbling economy, unemployment at 42%, inflation at 13%. With all that, this institution, the judiciary, is talking about their well-being, not about the well-being of others. We are all looked after by the judiciary, all of us, because they deal with legal matters. Now, I'm sorry, Honorable Minister, you referenced the National Assembly, and I'm going to reference you too. Because most of the challenges that this government is going today, or what we are going today, I'm going to point fingers.
Honorable member.
No, listen, I'm not out of topic.
Okay, please take your seat, sir.
Okay.
Please, honorable members, let us not impute improper motives on members or ministers or vice president who put up a motion. And let's confine ourselves. You remember there was an order raised and it was sustained. And don't address the minister, please address me. And then debate on the principles and general merits of the bill. Thank you, sir.
What I'm referencing here is about the judiciary, because for me personally, I have lost trust in the judiciary of this country. Because when there was change of government in 2017, there is what we call Constitutional Review Committee. How many millions?
Honorable member, please take your seat.
I am coming.
Take your seat, sir. Hey. Honorable member, please, there was a ruling I made and you must abide by that. Please, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Anyway, what I want to say here, well, we have other institutions. I would have agreed if it was the teachers bringing this bill. I would have agreed if it is the serving men bringing this bill, but not the judiciary or even the magistrate, who are even struggling to go to work, even without mobility. So if the judiciary is coming to talk about their well-being, I think the judiciary is here for the well-being of every nationality or non-nationality of this country, because all of us are bounded by laws. We are guided by laws. So I think they would have brought this bill at a time when our economy has improved. Yesterday, we were going through the FPAC report. All members who spoke yesterday, what did they say? So we are even thinking of having a firing squad. We guys told them, no, this is dictatorship. That's what we Kenyans for. So you cannot bring that back. Because here, you have to hold the bull by the horn. This is what the only thing that can move this country forward. It's not about allowing people to do whatever they want. And then when we say reforms, it should be salary restructuring before we talk of anything more. Because people are struggling within the work institutions. Go there and see their salaries. Now, if an institution is bringing a document here asking for their well-being, what of others who don't have the opportunity? This is why I agree with the member for Bakau, saying that we are sitting on a time bomb. Because for me, I don't know what is even happening now. Before I even know about this bill, I received so many calls, both home and abroad, telling me reject the bill, when I've not even seen the bill. This is what people are telling me. And then I have to go and consult my people. We have forums that we chat. There was none who even said to me, just support the bill. So we are even just using foul language. So which means for me coming here to vote for this bill is a bombshell for me, which I'm not going to be part of it. I cannot help build the life of someone when my life is in danger. I am sorry to tell you, my standpoint for this bill should be rejected. It's something that should not even be brought here, because as of now, our economy, unemployment, this is what we need to fight for. The living conditions of people here is terrible. So we cannot continue, we cannot even try to upgrade any institution they are living, while our people are going there hungry. While the security of this country is already, I would say that, already in a bad situation. So I'm sorry, Honorable Minister, because I'm not allowed to make references. So this means I'm going down now. I have to cut my story, because thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Member for Nijaro. And maybe do I take it that because you are constrained by the orders, you would have thrown a bombshell here? Thank God you are. Now I invite the member for Joshua.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you to the Honorable Minister for coming up with the bill. Let me just start from a proverb that if two elephants fight, the grass suffers. But if two arms of government are in a war, people suffer. So let us not be in a war. We are friends. The judiciary and then the legislature are all friends. We are all family. We are not fighting. We are just here to make things right. So let us not see each other as enemies. Honorable Speaker, I went through the bill, and I will say no to those who are saying they shouldn't have been here. It should be here. This is the place that we should look at bills. We are here to look at bills and then decide on the bills. So this is the right place that they should bring it. It is right that you bring it at the right place. This is the right place to bring your bills. Honorable Speaker, I think I heard the minister talk about independence. They want their own independence. To be independent has different meaning. But the way I look at this is about the welfare of the top than the bottom. There is no caring. You can be independent without being given good money. You can be independent without not giving good facilities. All can happen. I think independence depends on your iman. If you have faith in you, whether you are receiving $1 million or you are receiving $1, you are there to judge yourself based on your iman. Honorable Speaker, you passed somebody came with a point of order that we should not refer to ourselves to the last constitution. But my only reason of mentioning that constitution was because of this was extracted from there. So that's why I just want to mention it. My honorable senior whip. Sorry before you bring me on the point of order. This was from there. And then many people say that it was the reason why they were rejected. That thing that was brought here, not to mention the name. But we are here sitting on this bill today by looking at it and look at the end of the bill. Should it come at this time? Should it be passed? Or should it be looked after? At the end of the day, we have what we want. Some people talk about being private. Being private and being government are different in all sectors. The private sectors are more paid. The private sector, when it comes to in my field of construction, it's different. When it comes to go to the teaching field, the private schools are paid more than the tickets in government schools. So let's not compare being private and being part of government. The only thing that we need to look at here is whether what we have here covers everybody. I will say no. Everybody is under risk. As when you are working, there is risk attached to your position. There is risk attached to your position. Before being a judge, or before the judge decides on cases, I think it starts from the magistrate. The magistrates on many cases are more risky, very, very risky to decide on, and they decide on it. Let's look at the traveling magistrate in the provinces. There was a time I was on tour with a team of MPs. One magistrate called on me to say, Honorable, we have no vehicles. Today I'm deciding on a case for next to call Anabi. And without a vehicle, and this case, if I decide, my right is at risk. And if I am going home, I'll be on a motorbike to go home. That's what he told me. And even in the room that he was deciding that case, there was no chair that they can sit. They were all sitting on the floor. And they are not catered for here. So how can they be honest to decide on cases? How can they do it right when they are not motivated? I think it's important we look at it properly and come back to one thing that many people have already mentioned. Our salary scheme. Let's look at it. Let everybody feel. There is no one here who will say, I go home with, at the end of the month, when I receive my salary, I am okay. That's not one who say it. The more you are paid, the more problems you are having. But at least, let's look at the scale and upgrade those scales so that people feel that at the end of the salary, at the end of the month, I have something to take home. When it comes to pensions, I have a question to the minister. Pension and salary, because it's like in the government pension scheme, they talk of 15% of your salary as your pension. But here, if you are saying your last salary to be replaced, to be deferred as your pension, is it now a continuous salary or pension? I think it's a continuous of your salary. Whilst you are working, your salary continues. When there's an increment, they increase your salary. So you are still receiving your salary. It's not a pension. Because pension is determined by a certain percentage. So I think we have to look at these two things properly, between the pension and the salary. I think we should name it as continuation of receiving your salary. Honorable Speaker, we need to be very honest to ourselves and know that Gambia is our Gambia. Everybody has a responsibility. Even the drafters who drafted this. So I'm not speaking on their behalf, but I know when they were drafting it, they were not happy. If they are not part of this year, they were not happy. Honestly, they will say, sorry to use the English language, it's the word of language. They were not happy. So, I mean, this is Gambia. The moment something comes in, they call you, Honorable, I mean, don't allow it there because we are not happy. They will start coming on talking to us. And their magistrate, this is why, Honorable Minister, I will also put a question to you. Were there proper consultation between you and your team? Were there any consultation? Did you consult them? Did you talk to them? Did you ask them? Did you ask them that they are taking this? It's important. Because these are people calling you that we are not happy, we are not catered for. And they are the one who sit over at that level to decide on cases. That today he's going to be sent to mile 2. Today they are going to do ABC and on that individual. And next thing you see in a very small car going home, or even looking for a lift to go home. So I think, Honorable Speaker, we need to look at this bill properly. Some are saying that we just throw it from here. Some are saying that we refer it to committees. It's ours. This is our book. And it's meant for Gambians. If it not favor us, let us stop here. You say we are putting it here, we are not, it's not going further. So I'm in line with those who are saying that we just stop it here and move ahead. It is something that at the end of the day, you can't have a group of a football team who say only strikers are to enjoy. How about the defender who is defending? The midfielder who is giving the ball to the striker to score. So if you want to consider only one who has only scoring the goal to be enjoying, then at the end of the day, next week they also come and penetrate your defender and score you. My position is very clear. I say we are living here. It is stopping here, not moving to committees. It's very clear, bro. For me, I'm in serious. I never go back. Honorable Speaker, this is our bill. I have seen 3 months leave, vacation, for 3 good months. When there are a pile of cases, people are remanded in mile 2, waiting for trial, people are sitting down, waiting for their cases. People have, gone to court, want to travel back home, want to sit for 3 months. I think we have to look at these things properly, Honorable Speaker. At least, because we are always busy. We are here spending nights here. And you are only giving 1 month to rest. And that 1 month you are giving, it's not even vacation. Because it's in August. August they call you for disaster in your area, flood. You are running after every corner of your areas. Then you are not resting. At least as usual, 24 days or 30 days leave, it's okay. Not all judges should go together. When they are all together, everything is at a halt. So it's like they have to wait until 3 months to start again. Let's look at this, Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Minister. Honorable Speaker, before concluding, I think they said that one did not pass because of politics. But it's like the political will is also working within us here. Let's talk about it. Let's forget about politics. This country is our country. It's only red, white, blue, white, green. What is the interest of this country should be our disadvantage. What is the interest of this country should be something that we should fight for. Let's see Gambia first. I know that Gambia is our own country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, member for Joswang. I now recognize the member for Banjul Central.
You see, I don't like to be bullied, especially people of your type and character. I hate it.
Order, please. Order. Honorable Member Folate Kunda, you are out of order. Members must respect standing orders of the Assembly. You said you are number 5th. I couldn't know how you were number 5th.
I raise my tag before all of them.
Put off your mic.
I am not going to put off my mark because I now have only.
Honorable member, put off your mic, please.
Honorable Member, don't put on your mic. Don't put on your mic, please. I am provided a list by my aides, and I'm going according to the list. I am not bound by law to disclose the order of my list or even how I call members. What is important is members must be here and must listen to their colleagues as they contribute. And I can tell you, you are not among the number 10. You are not. I am going in order of the list that I'm given. And you are fond of, at any point in time, putting off your mic and addressing the Assembly. We have these standing orders for members, even if they don't know, but they should read. And when they read, after 1 month, 2 months, 1 session, 2 sessions, you should be able to offer yourself with rules of procedure.
I'm afraid with these rules more than you. Let me tell you that I am more afraid with these rules more than you.
Please don't.
I am more afraid.
There is point of order by the member for Jimara.
Minority leader, take yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I am rising on a point of order.
Please, there is order by the member for Jimara.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I am rising on order 21, 121-2. The Speaker or the Chairperson may, after having called the attention of the National Assembly member or the committee to the gross disorderly conduct of a member who willfully assault, molest, disrupt, or act in disorderly manner towards the Speaker or any other member, be called to order by the Speaker.
Thank you. Order sustained. The member for Latikunda has been in consultation with the member for Brikama North and Minority Leader. Members who serving as members of the National Assembly must obey with rule of procedures and the standing orders. And blatant and willful disregard to the standing orders and disruption of sessions of the National Assembly is against the standing orders. And rules govern when, how, where to rise on point of order, point of observation, or points of corrections or clarifications. And the honorable member for Latikunda Sabaji is fond of that. He must maintain the dignity and decorum of the National Assembly. Yes, member for Lower Salem, you have point of order?
to observe your proceedings. Yes, Honorable Speaker, it doesn't mean for the members not to obey their rules. The members should know that you are the custodian and presiding officer. The respect should be there. That position is not you. It's not you. They cannot see you as sitting here, Honorable Speaker. He must respect the proceedings, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, member
Point
for
of order,
Lower Salem. I cannot agree more. Yes, there's point of order. Before Opanyomi.
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Just to add on to what the Honorable Member for Jimara has cited, 21(2)(b), persistently and willfully obstruct the business of the Assembly or Committee. The Honorable Member for Ladikunda Sabeji is fond of doing this, and there should be a stop to it. Thank you.
Order sustained. Thank you.
Order, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, nominated member Fatou K. Jawara.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm rising on Order 21, permissible and suspension of member. Honorable Speaker, Order 21F. If a member persistently or willfully disregard the authority of the Speaker, order the member to withdraw immediately from the chambers or committee meeting during the remainder of the day. Honorable Speaker, I think your ruling should be confined to this, not that he is consulting with the minority leader. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, our number one responsibility is to guide. Order, please, member for Nyanija and Wuli is to guide the processes and procedures, and not probably to preside with emotions and sentiment. He chose to attack me personally. That is personal. And I won't, at this instant, I would only tell members what the rules are. And it is only appropriate for us as members of the National Assembly to act as honorable members of the National Assembly. And I agree with you, persistent disruptions of the Assembly, you know, the consequences leading up to naming the member and other procedures. But in this instant, we will proceed. And in fact, I am not obliged to inform you, he's number 20 on my list, as opposed to what he said, number 5. And earlier on I said, nominated member Kebalang Fofana is number 5 on my list. He's number 20. But as representative of the people, much is expected of us by our electorate, not to use the floor of the Assembly based on sentiment, based on disregard for the laws of the country. Thank you very much. I now, who's on the floor? Member for Banjul Central. Have you finished your contribution, or you have not started? Okay, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Here at hand is a bill that has to do with the enumeration aspects of our judicial corps. I'll try to be very brief, since today we are just restricted to discuss the general principles and merits, as is the second reading. First of all, I would just like to probably question the urgency of bringing such a bill at this particular time. I understand that the minister, just like any other sector rep, would do his level best to make sure that his ministry is taken care of, pertaining to their specific needs as well. So that is quite understandable. However, since we are all aware that the Gambia is prone to go through reform processes in multi-sectors, I don't see the need of and the urgency of bringing or the importance at this particular time of including remunerations at this particular moment, putting in mind the current economic situation of the country. Part of the bill, some of the things that the bill factors include the attraction of integrity. That is part of why this enhanced enumeration is brought forward, is to attract high caliber of judicial officers with high integrity. Also, such other, I would say, objective criteria deemed fitting by the ministry. We can't specifically go through the sections, but part of the section descriptions, it defines and categorizes the allowances and the benefits of the respective levels of enumeration based on their positions, but also prescription of the respective, like I said, merits. Part of also what I've noticed in this bill is that a lifetime salary to be paid to someone after retirement, and which is also prone to an increment based on the particular, I would say, year. Let's say next year, someone retires and is paid a lifetime salary, and then all of a sudden there's an increment in the, I would say, budgetary allocation for the ministry, for example, and you decide to increase your, I would say, remuneration portfolios. And then that particular person not working tends to still gain from that particular thing. And it's all levied in the consolidated fund. So I don't see, it doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest. Also, Honorable Minister, I think the first error you made was bringing that comparative aspect. I think that really didn't play well with the National Assembly. I think it's not ideal coming to our chambers and comparing us to a different, to a different institution. And like the members also alluded, the National Assembly has separate functions from that of the Judiciary. We enact and repeal laws. And as you can see, there's been controversial, sentimental opinions from the general public pertaining to the recently purchased vehicles, for example. But the Right Honorable Member and Minority Leader did make mention of that, which is very important. I think this is a scheme that every sector should emulate, because I think part of why it's been a public discourse is because people were misinformed that this is a scheme. It's not really that we are here just to enrich ourselves or whatever, but it's a scheme that should be emulated. And we are catering for most of the, I would say, expenses pertaining to those particular aspects in the vehicles. But if you compare that with the judiciary, I would say you guys are already enjoying certain, I would say, privileges, because I would say if you are to pick the level of enumerations that are eligible for the named, I would say, judicial ranks, if you make the comparison, I would say most of them are having security officers, most of them are having their normal allowances, they are having vehicles, they are having coupons. So most of the things listed, they are already having those amenities. So I don't see any reason why this should come now, or why is it so urgent? Because I think there are already very attractive remunerations, I would think. I haven't looked at it in depth, but I would think that most of the occupants in these spaces are enumerated attractively. Also, something that I would like to put forward is that I think the bill is very specific to those that are in the upper echelon. I think a needs assessment, I don't know if a needs assessment was done to look at things on a sectorial level the ministry at large, at least to include the subordinates as well, because the members did mention here that there are some are cleaners there, some are drivers, you know, some are having very low positions over there. Sometimes we, the members, even help some with lift to help them reach their specific destinations based on, because most of them, even if you converse with them, what they tell you is that their monthly take-homes are not even fit for their weekly needs, let alone a monthly, let alone their monthly, expectations from family and their other welfare needs. So putting that in place, I wonder why, when the bill came, it didn't really factor those that are also in the lower echelon as well. The National Assembly, usually, based on our open door policy, we are usually always on the public eye, and much criticism is given to this August Assembly. But this is the same assembly that just recently has increased the salary of civil servants by 30%, right? And this is the same assembly that just last year, we all witnessed that we've been going through budgetary cuts. I think by now, most of the members should have had their own offices, if I'm not right, because it was catered for in our budget. But factoring the current economic situation, and how the country is not faring as expected, we decided to have budgetary cuts, sectorial budgetary cuts among all sectors, including ourselves. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Honorable Mbo, you are more acquainted. I think it's amounted to $50 million. Sorry, our budgetary 60. Our budgetary cuts last year, National Assembly, Parliament, 70 million. Imagine 70 million that was supposed to cater for also the parliamentary needs, and these were cut off from our own budget, right? And still, we are finding more ways to see how we could try to cut things here and there to be able to redirect them to the relevant ministries. So that also, again, I would question why the urgency of bringing this here at this particular time. With regards to the bill, I wouldn't come out and reject it outright. I think that will be very inconsiderate. That will be very inconsiderate. I think we are here to debate issues. This bill is just like any other bill. It's just like any other bill. It has its own objects and reasons. And we should look at these objects and reasons to, sometimes things will be brought here in Parliament that are good, right? But when something is good, you try to make it better, right? So this bill is here. We don't think that it's good, right? But let's try to take the positives out of it, right? So in my own analysis of things, I believe it should be taken to the relevant committee, and like the other member says, to be sanitized and revamped. Yes, and revamped. And also, once it's taken back, we could look at it on a higher, or on a close-up spectacle, I would say, to also see if the subordinates can be also catered to be included in the bill. That these are all provisions that can be done, I think, right? Because we are here for the people, and I think this is an opportunity to capitalize on this bill to make sure that those that are in the lower echelon are also catered for, I think. And also, what's more important with regards to this also, it will help the minister in having a more diverse collaboration with the National Assembly pertaining to this particular bill, to also give him an opportunity to maybe make clear certain provisions that are in it, because we are lawmakers, we are not we are not lawyers. We need to be, these things need to be interpreted to us. Probably there are certain clauses here that need clarity from us so that we could have better understanding of them, right? And then from there, we'll be able to do the needful and make sure we do the needful with regards to this particular bill. So my stance in this is not to reject it outright, but to take it to the relevant committee and make sure it's sanitized and revamped, and see if the best can come out of it. If not, then we find other alternatives. So on that note, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, member for Banjul Central. I now invite the member for Woolies.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, permit me to say that the reason why I like debate is because of the adage that kacha merim kalaran kotofeng akabondile. So many things are going to be revealed or are being revealed about this. Honorable Speaker, this government is very good in building bureaucracy. They are very good at that. And it is bureaucracy that is going to make this country bankrupt. Let's continue building the bureaucracy. It will eventually kill everything in this country. Honorable Speaker, the bill before us is titled Judicial Officers, Remuneration and Other Entitlements Bill. That's the name. And that includes judges, it includes all the other judicial officers. So it's not just about judges, it's about all judicial officers. Their entitlements, which includes also magistrates. But Honorable Speaker, what is here, in my opinion, in terms of cost, are proposals. They are not cast in stone, they are proposals. Because the ultimate decision on this is us. So we have the knife. They can put 1 million there, we can cut it and put 100,000. So it's under us. The proposals, though, appear to be a bit above board. Because they are talking about exemption from tax. This country is a tax base. So it is to collect tax from all of us, to put it together, to carry out government functions. Health and incidental debt, insurance, per diem, equal to the vice president, things like that. I think that's what agitates us. Why should a judge's per diem be equal to the vice president? Those are things that require with security and full salary. Like I said, it is our responsibility to also find out the salaries of our judicial officers or judges and magistrates. And that should pertain to the Statutory Salaries Act. There is a law on salaries. They are better placed to determine what should be the salary of the judge, what should be the salary of the permanent secretary, what should be the salary of a teacher, or a qualified teacher, etc., etc. They are there. So that is not really our responsibility. I believe that that is another domain that should do that. Because if you ask us to do that, we will not be able to do it correctly anyway. We will not be able to determine objectively, all the salaries that are in the country. There is a body that should work on that. For example, Honorable Speaker, we should find out the salaries, if we are working on this, for example, to see whether our judges are in fact underpaid. Because when I checked the estimates for 2022, I compared the salary of a Supreme Court judge, a new judge who is just employed as a judge. I compare it and then I see that it's equal to the salary of majority leader. So that is 45,000. So it's equal to that. So how do we know whether that judge is underpaid so that we'll be able to know to augment that? I said that is something that appears to be above us. What we can do is approve. Now, we have the, yes, We have the Constitution, which has recognized JSC, Judicial Service Commission. And they have a role. And the role is also here. Many things are there, but let me just see. 147, yes. They have functions. 145, yes, 145. Yeah, the Judicial Service Commission is established under 145, but I'm saying they have functions. In addition to other functions conferred on the Judicial Service Commission by this Constitution, the Commission shall have power to advise the President in the exercise of their powers relating to the appointment of judges. That's one power. B, to make recommendations as to the terms and conditions of service of judges and other judicial officers and staff of the courts. That's their responsibility that we cannot take from them. C, to make proposals to improve the administration and efficiency of the courts. That's also their responsibility. D, to prepare and implement programs for the education of the public about the administration of justice. And E, to exercise such other functions as may be conferred on it by an act of the National Assembly. So there is nowhere here which says they should determine their own salary. Because if we agree with this, it means that the Judicial Service Commission will determine the salary of the judges and themselves, including the Chief Justice. Chief Justice also is the chair of the Judicial Service Commission, so it will be entirely in their hands. So if we are not going to do that, then there is no need to pass this.
Honorable Speaker, can I clarify? Since I'm told it's only when somebody is on the floor that I can clarify.
No, only when you come.
When you come.
Or observe.
That's for the member speaking to give you.
Can I clarify something for you, honorable member on the floor?
It says members. No, your turn will come. We are going to mix everything and then you will come and clarify. So, like I said, it is not their responsibility to make their own salary. That comes when they have a proposal, for example, to buy cars for judicial officers or judges, whatever, they put it in their annual budget and it goes to the minister, they have bilateral. And it comes here, we also have bilateral. And eventually, if we approve, they have the cars. It will come as and when necessary, as and when possible, just like all the other institutions do. But we will not give them the leeway for every sector to determine your allowance and salaries. So, Honorable Speaker, the member for Same said we should be careful. Because the section 142 also states that salaries, allowances, retirement, gratuity, and pension of a judge.
Section 142
of the Constitution, 1997 Constitution, as so prescribed at the time of his or her appointment, shall not be varied to his or her disadvantage. So if we, for example, put exorbitant things here, even if the country is dying, you will not change that. You cannot reduce their salary. You cannot. Just like your salary is meant for the president, you cannot bring the president's salary down. And that's why the president's salary is going to 250,000 per month. Because when we add 5% across the board, the president also gets 5% across the board. And 5% of 200,000 is a lot of money. So what we require is a salary restructuring, Honorable Speaker. It's a salary restructuring to ensure that everything is calculated, to ensure that what is embedded here for the judiciary, for all the other people, is standardized in such a way that what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. Today we are dealing with judicial officers, but tomorrow the medical officers may also come and say, do the same thing for us. The security will also come and say, do the same thing for us, and so on. So what would be it cannot go on like that. Agriculture may also come, and so on and so forth. So, Honorable Speaker, I tend to believe that what we need to put in place in terms of salaries is to look at it in such a way, for example, those who are at the top and they are receiving more. For example, when we come to increments, instead of 5% across the board or 10% across the board, we will reduce those ones. If we are giving 5% to the lower ones or 10% to the lower ones, we give 2% or 3% to the higher ones, and the middle income, we give them 3%. That type of arrangement will definitely all go for those who are below the rank. Otherwise, we are just going to end up, some people end up having 1 million a month, while others are just receiving 3,000 a month. So, Honorable Speaker, whether we take this to the committee or we do it here, this is something that's going to be very difficult to accept. What we can do for them, we cannot do anything for them except to give them the role that the Constitution prescribes for them. Their role is to advise the president and to manage the courts, etc., etc. That's what we can do for them. When they need vehicles, like I said, they go through the same system to the minister, and if the economy can accept it, the minister will advise and then come here and advise us, and they will approve that as and when possible. Otherwise, we will put ourselves in a shoe and will not be able to come out to balance any budget here. That's the way I see things. I assume that the government that is bringing this has already accepted that they can do these things. But if the economy is spoiled, we cannot reverse it. That's the difficulty. So, no, it's not, they cannot bring anything here which they have not accepted. When I say Honorable Speaker, I'm addressing the Speaker, whether I look at him or not. As long as I say Honorable Speaker, I'm addressing Honorable Speaker. So you don't need to fix your eye on the Honorable Speaker to be able to address this. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I believe that this is something that is not only controversial, but it is something impossible for us to do. And then I don't see any need to maintain this thing. I think they should go back and come up with reasonable proposals, reasonable roles to put in this, to make it clear for them what their role is, what can they do in administration and so on, and leave out salary and remunerations. We already know what they want, they know what they want, the system knows what they want, needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member for Wuli East. I now give the floor to the Member for Latikunda Sabiji. Is out. The Member for Bundunkakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Basically, I must thank the Honorable Minister for bringing this bill. You did what you're supposed to do as a minister and as a ministry. So equally, we also have a role to play. So what I'm trying to say is always whatever we do the right thing. Now, the bill is before us, and we have seen so many issues. For me, actually, based on the consultation that I had with my people, because it's my people that brought me here, just a few days ago, we had a community outreach program, and some of the issues that they were talking about was like the economic situation of the country. But notwithstanding, whatever we do, we still have a responsibility as a country, as a parliament, to see how best we can collaborate. Because all the time, I always talk about collaboration and partnership. Fine, we recognize and acknowledge the effort and the importance of the judiciary as an arm of government. Equally, the legislature. Fine, you did the right thing by bringing the bill here so that we can scrutinize. This is what we are trying to do. The scrutiny is all about trying to see how feasible the bill is, whether it will reflect the life of ordinary Gambian people. So for me, actually, I don't know. I just want to know whether there was any consultation, proper consultation done with regards to this bill, because people are talking about magistrate, but I think this bill should be more inclusive, because we may not be equal, fine, but as far as work is concerned, as far as national development is concerned, every sector of the government is important. Even the cleaner is important, because if the cleaner doesn't clean your office, you can never stay in your office. So basically, whatever we do, we always look at in a very broadened perspective, wherein, you know, we think about the ordinary people around in the grassroots level. So for that being the case, we have seen part of the bill, the judges should have security till death. They should go with their full salaries and whatever. And basically, this is after retirement. So we have people in the Gambia who sacrifice for this country, and after working, serving the country, they become destitute. And I think it's high time we try to, whatever we do, we reflect our mind on those people. Maybe if I give an example, people might see me as biased, but this is something that I went through. We have area councillors who were elected by the same Gambian people. They serve 3 terms, 15 years in office. They live without nothing absolutely because of maybe the laws that were not available or whatever are in place. Because I know you know the Local Government Act, you taught us so many times. So these are things that we need to factor, because the thing is, we are all important as far as the national development is concerned. So for that being the case, we are lawmakers. The judiciary, they did what they're supposed to do. Now it's left to us whether to reject it here or to commit it to a relevant committee. If the committee doesn't satisfy us, still now we still have our discretion to do whatever we want to do. But remember, we have a country to build, fine, but that should not stop us from collaborating to work for the betterment of the country. Though if you bring a bill and the parliament decided to reject it, it's a normal thing because the parliamentarians are trying to do the needful. Because I could remember, it's not about any other thing, but I know if the parliament happen to do anything here, it can be challenged at the High Court and you may, you know, try to do your own judgment about it and we will accept it. So for that being the case, what I am trying to, you know, at least address is all about whether we pass it here, whether we reject it or we commit it to a relevant authority, because that's the procedure. Because at the end of the day, we don't just have to take this thing emotional or whatever. They did what they're supposed to do. Now it's left to us to either reject or pass it to the relevant committee so that the committee can also do the work on behalf of the assembly. Then at the end of the day, they can bring it and we see. But basically, this is something that actually, based on the consultation I had, my people, they don't support this bill. And these are the people who I always term as my greatest asset, because they are vulnerable people whom you know that they work for this country, they got pension, and they go home with nothing absolutely. So, you know, we need to see that, because when you are in service, you must sacrifice for your country. This is why we always call ourselves as patriots. Right now, all of us, we are serving our country. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't serve, you know, then later we try to get everything for ourselves. We are not trying to discourage. If we are doing a good work, good job, yes, we need to motivate our, you know, workers. We need to give them incentives and reward them. It's very important so that we can retain. But right now, with the current situation of the country, I think we need to look at this thing holistically and see what best we can do about it. So, for my side, as far as the friendly community of Bundung is concerned, actually, they are not in for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the member for Bundung Kakunda. It's now 14:55 or 56, according to my watch. And it's a good time for us to break for lunch and prayer and resume after 1 hour, 15 to 55, the House now suspended.